Good morning. Got a lot of stuff on my mind this morning. And I was thinking if anything I ever put out went viral or people actually looked at it, and it probably won't happen because, I ain't nobody. But I got a lot of stuff on my mind all the time. If you know me, I say a lot of the same stuff over the years. To those who are close to me, they hear the things I say. They make sense, but they can be twisted to mean something else all the time. So I say things that are supposedly hard to say or you're not supposed to say. But I'm going to put some background on this and I'll maybe get you guys to understand where I'm coming from on this. I see a lot of pain in people's lives, and a lot of pain can be avoided if we weren't so damn selfish. And that's just a simple thing to say. It's just like saying love each other. And now it's a lot of love yourself. We've been told to love ourselves. We've been told to be selfish, basically, for the past, since I guess the '60s generation, and I was born right after that situation. So we've been told to love ourselves and be all about ourselves. And I think, in self esteem, and I think if anything, we've got way too much esteem. Look, you see that in the children. Children are told they're special too much. Children they don't believe in achievements, accomplishments, or pushing themselves anymore. And we've ruined everything because we've ruined families. And I know what I say is not going to be cool because it's going to sound old fashioned and stupid, but it's the damn truth. And whether you want to believe it or not, if you sit here and actually look at all the people in your life who have hurt people, who have done things that have caused you the most trouble, it's usually based on self love. And we preach self love quite often in society, and our music talks about it, or especially with the women. And we've ruined our mothers, we're ruining our fathers more every day. That we're wanting men to be more feminine because women aren't being feminine, so we're making men having to be feminine. That's why you see all these men raising kids on their own now, or trying to be mom and dad, because the women have what women used to do is, which was respected, and maybe they took, I think what they did was they took the fact that maybe women weren't getting respected as they should in some cases and ran with it. Maybe women weren't being put on the pedestal they deserved as mothers and wives and grandmothers, and the respect role didn't get where it should have been. And maybe people that saw that ran with it to create their own agenda. Let me roll back. When I was growing up, one of the most important things to me was being a father. Now, my father was a tough guy. By all today's standards, he'd be considered abusive because I know a lot of us can say that now. We got ass beating, spankings, yelled at. My father told me a lot of negative things about myself. Being the oldest child, my father told me I wasn't going to amount to shit. My father would tell me I wasn't going to be anything and I was a fat fuck and all this stuff. But because of the things he told me, I learned how to fight. I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to be into fitness. My father, all the negative things my dad did to me, he turned into positives. My father forced me to work very hard. He forced me to learn how to push myself. And now we want boys to cry. Hey, if you're going to cry, you're eventually going to cry on your own. You don't have to be told to cry, or told it's okay. You'll know when it's okay if you're a man. But now we've pushed that shit too. It's like my father pushed to a degree, hiding your emotions or not being that person. And when the time comes, like I said, we it's unnatural to push boys to not be boys. Like, that's what we're doing. But that said, the most important thing, and it is, I had a father and then I had a mother, and my mother was like the best mother because she was all about the children, and her life was about the children. And the people say now they've made that out to be evil, weak, bad, negative, stupid. It's slavery. They have made out women who are mothers or love their husband or give into or have any kind of, not really submission, but just put the family first, or don't, or they don't put themselves on, first all the time. That is because now they have convinced women that is some form of negative slavery. They tell these women that, if you're this way, you're not about you. Be about you. and it's a technique. What we've done is we've come up with this thing called independent women, and basically what independent women means is, nowadays if you look at it, it's you know that old saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Okay, think about all these women out here talking about being independent nowadays. Look at these singers and rappers and women with working their butt hanging out and their boobs hanging out, and all their plastic surgery, and running around half naked, and it's all about control. It's all about how much, and the reality of independent woman is not, do I do it on my own? It's, if you really think about it, and you really look at what these so-called independent women are, they basically, their independence has to do with their sexuality, because it's like, how long can I be a sex object? And that's basically what that is, because if you listen to the lyrics of music, quit listening to the beat of the modern music, and it's all about me and money, and it's evil. And it's sitting there saying, well, I want to go out here and I want I'm independent because I don't answer to any man. I go out here and see, if you're not in that world, and you're not sitting there looking at the reality of that world, you look at all these single moms and look at all this stuff that's been glorified. Yeah, it's great to put a single mom on a TV show, and great to, it's drama. These are people who are rich people who are being actors. I mean, you could put and you say Cardi B is a single mom. Well, yeah, she's a single mom with millions of dollars that can hire a nanny. All these people are, she's with that guy in Migos, but I'm just an example. What they're doing is they're telling you that women are better off if they have control of everything around them, and if they're about themselves, and they're selfish and they're self-centered. And so this independent woman thing, you think about all the independent women mantras and all the independent women who are portrayed as independent. What are they? They're usually women who are sexual, who are looking like they could go out and bang whoever they want. They can go out here and be with any man they want, and they don't have to nail themselves down to any man. And what that's really about is separation. That's about being about yourself, and you can be a single mom. If you have kids, you can take your kids elsewhere. You don't have to answer to a man. And it's this self-centeredness. This is why you had these shows like Sex in the City showing women almost 60 years old and doing 30-something-year-old guys, because it's a lie they tell women. They tell women that you can be attractive and sexy forever. Because think about what the base of independent woman, it always has to do with sexuality. It has nothing to do with money and things. It does, if you would think about that, it would. But where do most of these women doing this get the money? They get either child support, or they're getting some kind of government benefits. And why do you think they're bitching about income equality? Because women do the type of jobs a lot of women don't make the same kind of money because of the nature of the job. For example, there's other reasons, but we ain't going to get into that. The point is they're pushing so women don't have to answer to men, so there's no family base anymore. There's no family. Women get out here and think about, I'm an independent woman, and look at all these women who go out there, they live that lifestyle. They're married, and then they see a young guy at work, or they see a guy they want to party and do drugs like they're a teenager. Well, who cares? I'm being about me. There's a lot of women in society right now who could be moms, housewives, and they go elsewhere, or they cheat, or they go out here and see somebody that's more attractive, or they see somebody younger, or they see somebody that they want to hang out with at work, or nobody judges them like they used to, because they're like, well, they're doing it. She's being about herself. You go, girl. You be about yourself. And then the reason why they promote this image, if you think about, back to the Sex and the City example, these are older women, and think about what the basis of that show is. 90% of that show, and I've seen enough of that show to know, 90% of what that show's about is these women. That's why sex is in the title. They're older, middle-aged women, and they're still having sex with guys. So basically, they're out looking for sex, and they're career women. So if you're a career woman and you're about your career, the thing they're trying to show you is, hey, you can be this sex object and you can still be sexy and be old, and there's your power. So they're teaching women that their power is in the ability to have sex, and sexuality is power. But then they're, if I sit here and said women should be all sex objects, you would say I'm a pig. But basically, that's what this independent woman mantra is teaching these women, to be able to be fuckable as long as you can. Basically, that's what that tells them. Be able to be your power lies in your attractiveness. So we're really going backwards. How are we? Whereas in the past, you think about who is revered and respected, older women, grandmothers, women who have, think about this. You see a woman now, and she leaves her husband and leaves her kids to go screw around, or she leaves her husband to do what she wants, or go, do yoga overseas or across the country and date, 20-year-old guys when she's 65. Okay, imagine. And women get, you get boob jobs, you get plastic surgery, you can extend that power. And it's all about power. This is why women have become the way they have, because it's like they base their value on their sexuality. And in the past, people looked at a woman as a mother. Well, she's my mother. That's my grandmother. That's these are... you have matriarch and patriarchy, and we're trying to get rid of all the patriarchy and matriarch stuff and all the other stuff. We're trying to destroy all that. Because why? Because we don't want fathers and mothers anymore to be respected. Why do we not want fathers and mothers? Why do we not want that family structure? Because the government wants to take the place of that and make us where women are running around. When you're a woman and you're 50, 60 years old and you're still running around, and when your sexuality is gone, what's your choices? Find Jesus and live off the government. You don't have any choice anymore. Because the minute people don't want to feel sorry for you or have sex, or your kids aren't going to give a damn if you've ran off on your kids and put yourself first. If you put yourself first, nobody's going to put you first, because you've taught your kids that. If you're a mother and you're out here running around leaving your kids so you can go to the club, do you think when you're 60 or 70 years old, your kids give a damn about your status? Why? Because maybe they have that romantic version thing of, you're my mother and I want to be that way because you're my mother. But if you put yourself first, who's going to take care of you? Of course, the government. If you got any assets, the government's going to take that so you can go in the old folks' home. You're giving the government more control of your life when you are selfish and you are all about yourself. Now, see, there's a men's movement that's been called the MGTOW, men going on their own. And they're pushing men now to not be fathers and connect themselves to women and let women do what they want to do and just accept that women are this way. So we're trying to separate men and women, and let people go out here and be all about me. And being a father and a husband is the most important thing in my life, and more important than anything I've ever done. And it was I'll go backwards. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a dad, because my dad, to me, that was power. It was like being the godfather, to be a dad. Everything I approached in my life, I looked at like family. When I had a club family, and I treated it like family. I treated everything like a family in my life. And my friends, you can go, those who know me, know that I built a family environment, and I built a brotherhood around me, and a sisterhood, and a family, and people who looked after each other. And that's what's important to me. And I always wanted girls, because I have boys too. I have 3 boys and 2 girls, but I do better with girls, and I really hit the jackpots. I've got 2 really beautiful girls. I've got, I can't say little girls, one's in her 20s, and she's beautiful, and she turned out pretty good. And I've got my 8-year-old that's here. So I hit the jackpot with girls, and I've got boys, and they're all taller than me, and that's what matters. And but when people are telling your wife that being with you isn't enough, and that you're like, let's say if you get a marriage and your wife is getting older and she worries about what people think about how she looks, or that, because we taught women that that's power, that what matters deep down We can say it's about womanhood all we want, but deep down, when women are not sought after by other men, then they have no place. And that's not me saying that, that's society. Because you take an unattractive woman who has nowhere to go, what is she? If a man won't, if she can't find somebody that she can jump to, or then she's government dependent, or she's homeless, or whatever. If she hasn't, like I said, if she hasn't lived her life and been a proper mother, then her kids don't respect her. And if you're running around all about you, your kids aren't going to respect you. So who do you have? You have the good old Uncle Sam. And that's what they've done. They're doing this to get more control of people's lives. And it's the same thing with men. When men are willing to sit here and not give a damn and just pay their child support if they have that, and screw around and do whatever and not be fathers. And it's because all these movements are about one thing. You are about you, which means you're also not about your kids. You're more about you. So therefore, who's going to take care of your kids? The government. Uncle Sam takes your kids. They are basically making people think that they're serving themselves and they're doing the right thing for themselves. Oh, be all about you. We'll take care of the rest. And they've fooled the whole generation of people that selfishness is the thing to do. And if women just sat back and saw this lie they're buying into, and men too, but I'm saying the women are the basis of why this is happening, because women are so important in society to children and so important to us. And women, the role of women is being just looked at like slavery, the old role, like aspiring to be a mother, aspiring to be a great wife. And, women like I said, they're about personal power now because they've been conditioned that way. So when a woman goes out here and she's, say she's got a good husband, they can go out here and they can see, well, I've got a great husband, I'm a wife, but what am I? Because every song I hear on the radio, everything I hear says I'm not doing my thing. And so I'm a slave. And what do I do? And like I said, because society is geared towards that self-love, then if a woman leaves her husband and kids at such an age, they're not really looked down on like they used to be. And there's no man, if a man does this shit, to a degree, men are still looked down on to a degree for being that way more than women are. Because there's a lot of women cheat more than you think. I see a lot of it. And so society is changing. And we are doing it. It's just like we complain about prescription drugs, for example. We say, well, there's a lot of people on prescription drugs. Well, why is that? We want a quick fix. We want to go out here and take a pill for something. So what is a doctor going to do? If you go to a doctor and says, hey, have a healthy diet, take care of yourself. Well, why don't you give me pills? I want a pill. We go to doctors for pills nowadays. We go to doctors for prescriptions. We don't go to doctors to tell us how to eat right. And then if they all prescribe, then you're blaming the doctor. Well, how long would that doctor be in business if he didn't prescribe pills to everybody that wants them? So, we're asking for our own problems nowadays. But anyway, being a mother and a father is what built society. And if we let go of that, then we don't have a society anymore, and our society is controlled by those who want to control it. And guess what? Most of those people out there, they got enough money to keep their family together, and they've got their wife, husband, mistresses, and everything else, but they've still got that family structure because most of those rich people have family structures. We don't have them. If you look at how they live and what they're telling you, look at how all these wealthy people live. They keep their families together as a dynasty. Even if they all hate each other, they still keep them together most of the time. Most of the time, they're still married. Look at the Clintons, for example. All the cheating, all the screwing around, they stay together. They keep their families intact. Meanwhile, they're trying to destroy our families with music, with mentality out there, with all these things they tell us how to live, and they're trying to destroy us. So they tear up all our families, so we depend on their shit. So quit listening, quit being selfish. Think about where you're going to be. If you're a woman or a man, if you're a man and you abandon your wife for another woman, or you're a woman and you abandon your family, and you put yourself above your children and your family. And look at where you're going to be when you're old. Who's going to respect you when you're old? You're killing your legacy right now. I would rather just I would rather just be grow old and have respect for my children than go out and be running around doing whatever makes me so called happy. Because in the long run, there's nothing in that. There's nothing in that for anybody. But of course, society tells you different. But anyway, the selfishness, self-centeredness goes nowhere, and that's what we've been. That's what we're being sold. We're being sold a lie. Um, and we need to really look into to what matters. And I don't know why, when you say that, you say, well, you matter. We all know we matter. And if you really love yourself, you need to do the things that make you the respectable person that you're meant to be rather than what makes you happy at the moment. And, really, there is nothing in that. So, just a few thoughts. You guys have a great day.